My name is Tyler Doggett. I'm a philosophy professor at the University of Vermont.
Chase, are you here?
Yeah, what's happening?
All right, what do you got for us? Or for Tyler?
Cool, thanks for being here, Tyler. We appreciate your input. So I was curious about your thoughts of system change versus individual change. So my activism incorporates both. I am vegan, and I try to encourage other people to go vegan for the animal rights reasons, and to become anti-speciesist and to live that out in their lives, but also to become activists, to talk to their friends and family, join collective demonstrations, help change the laws, things like that. I've been arrested for animals. I've gone inside slaughterhouses and helped rescue the animals. So on and so forth, helped lobby politicians to ban fur in California. I like looking at like the civil rights movement as an example. So like it seems to me that social justice starts with taking personal responsibility and then educating one another and inspiring people to take action. And so this can be in the form of like a consumer boycott, such as the Montgomery bus boycott, inspired by the solo protest by Rosa Parks during the civil rights movement in 1956, which deprived the government in Alabama of hundreds of thousands of dollars that it had been making from selling bus tickets, which is the equivalent of millions of dollars today. So 40,000 activists and everyday people chose to carpool, walk, or ride a bike, and this forced the city transit system into serious economic distress. And this activism gained international media coverage, and after just 381 days of boycotting, the Supreme Court ruled that the racial segregation in Alabama's buses was unconstitutional. So I just think that collective consumer boycotts can work in connection with mass protests and political lobbying to create widespread social change and new laws.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Chase, goodness. I hope I did not give the impression that I deny that. I think that's definitely it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because there is a bit of a debate in the animal rights movement about, like some activists will only do individual change, like promoting veganism, and say that's the only thing we should do. Some other activists will say, no, we only need to focus on systemic change. And then there's some people like me who are in the middle who are saying we should do both, or at least have some groups doing individual change, some other groups doing system change. But it all works towards the same goal, because it seems kind of unrealistic to me to think that we can make systemic change without enough individual change taking place first. Because like, why would meat eaters want to ban slaughterhouses? Usually the people who want to shut down the slaughterhouses are vegans. So if we create more vegans, then we have more vegans who we can empower to become activists, and then we have more leverage to change the whole society.
Yeah, good. Okay, great. So, right. Yeah, that all sounds great to me. I think the thing that maybe I had said earlier that you're picking up on, I do think there's too much concern in the philosophical circles I travel with like what people eat, and not enough concern with what they're doing about the production of food. That was the thing that I was trying to stress, and so I'm not denying that. Like the model that you're sketching seems like a very effective, maybe like the most effective model. In fact, it might be super hard to try to affect systemic change without affecting personal change. Like if Pake were just like lying around the house eating Whoppers all the time, it might be very hard for Pake to institute or to work for systemic change. Yeah, no, I'm on board with all that.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because it just seems like if we're trying to dismantle speciesism, but we're engaging in blatant speciesism, it seems like people might not take us seriously, and we're contributing to the problem we're fighting against. So, but then the other thing I was going to say was, have you heard of the Liberation Pledge? That's where we will not only be vegan, but we will not eat we will not eat at a table where animal products are being eaten. Because, like, if I was hanging out with non-vegan friends and I started eating a dog at the table, those non-vegans would not sit at that table with me. They would say, "What are you eating a dog for? This is crazy. That's animal cruelty. I'm not going to enable you to think that this is okay. I'm going to stand up against this and leave this table," you know? And so I'm just extending that same logic to all animals and all animal products. And so what I find, and a lot of vegans find this when they engage in the Liberation Pledge, is that so long as you do it in a respectful way, a lot of times the non-vegans are actually really receptive of this. If you say, "Look, I love you, my friend, and I want to hang out with you, but I'm not comfortable sitting at a table where animals are being harmed. So if you want to share a meal with me, it needs to be a vegan meal. But if you're not comfortable doing that, then we can just hang out another time where animals aren't being eaten." And a lot of times people find they're really like they respect that a lot. They respect your conviction, and it helps them realize the severity of the situation and the victims that are being brutalized. And they will eat a vegan meal with you because they do want to spend time with you, and they're open to trying new food. And this is kind of a way to force them to eat vegan food for a minute to see how good it tastes, but also just to show how serious the issue is, you know. And if they're not willing to, like I said, you can still hang out with them another time. You don't have to ruin your relationship.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, great. I mean, I guess we're getting to the end here. It's okay if I break down a little bit. I mean, for me, Chase, almost every single person in my life who I love is someone who eats animals occasionally, and I really struggle with the fact that I think those people are doing something that's monstrous. But the thing for me, Chase, is I also think that all of us are doing monstrous stuff all the time. When you look back historically, people like who were thought of as moral exemplars 150 years ago probably seem to you and me like total nightmares morally, even if they had some good bits. And so one thing I've really struggled with that your Liberation Pledge is making me think about is how I should deal with people who are acting in ways that I think are not just morally wrong, but in some ways like morally quite repellent, but also how I should deal with the fact that I myself am presumably engaged in lots of behaviors that if there are people in 100 years, those people will be looking back on me with a sort of moral horror. I'm thrilled. I'm really glad to hear that the Liberation Pledge seems like it works for you, and that's something I've thought about in my own personal life. I mean, I would have to stop eating with, like I said, every single person I love, unless they were willing to eat vegan, which they probably would be. I mean, my wife and my children, I think, would do it. Other people not. Thank you for bringing that up. I did not know about that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I appreciate you listening. Thanks for being here again.
Yeah, thank you.